There is a very worrying global trend that people are not paying attention to, and that is the fact that most people are actually losing their jobs. Just a couple of days ago, or probably within a week, I've seen two high level managers in my firm being let go simply because the company had to cut down costs. And that was mainly due to AI automation. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, about 30% of the global workforce would likely be replaced by AI, that is by 2028, and the remaining 60% of jobs would actually be impacted heavily by AI. And so in today's video, we are going to discuss the things that you need to do in order to future-proof your career and then try as much as possible not to be rendered obsolete by AI. And so if you're new here, my name is Nana. I hold a master's degree in business finance, and on this channel, we discuss everything personal finance and personal development. And so, with that said, the first thing that you really need to do is to become tech savvy and not tech phobic. And so, one of the key things that you need to embrace or accept is the fact that AI has come to stay and it's become part and parcel of every single thing that we do on a daily basis. Now, one of the key things that you can actually do is to become aware of what AI is doing or the changes that is actually impacting around you, and especially in your career. In the finance and insurance space, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, by 2030, over 1 million jobs would actually be automated. And so that gives you heads up as to what to expect in the future, and it helps you to actually acknowledge what the problem is likely going to be like, and then more importantly, to find solutions and then timely interventions that will subsequently avoid you or your skills becoming obsolete altogether in your industry. This brings us to the second strategy that can help you to future-proof your career, and that is to focus on human skills that AI cannot replace. And one of such skill is a skill of leadership, or secondly, having to make decisions in ambiguous situations. I have had the chance of serving people at the uni level when I served as student representative council president. And one key thing about human beings is that they always want relational experiences or shared experiences. So for instance, if they have any problem and they come to you, they want people that can understand them or people that can feel or share in their pain. And AI cannot do that as it stands now. And so one thing that you need to do is that you need to try as much as possible to subject yourself to education. Try and then better yourself when it comes to interpersonal human relationship skills or leadership skills altogether. Try and then learn how to be empathetic to people and build strong relationships at work, and that will subsequently ensure that you're relevant even in the midst of all these chaos that is delivered mainly due to AI automation. This brings us to the third strategy, and that is to upskill. So according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, about 59% of people, that is between now and 2030, would have to upskill in order to stay relevant at their workplaces due to AI automation. So now the competition isn't with you or between you and your fellow colleague or your employee at work. It is between you and AI. And no one can actually outpace AI when it comes to efficiency and effectiveness, because even these large language models are doing extremely well as it stands now. They are nearly twice or three times more intelligent than the human counterparts. And so what you need to know is that trying to upskill or harnessing the skill to learn how to use AI and incorporating that into any other operational skills that you have would actually be relevant in the future. And so try as much as possible to learn new stuff. Try and then buy courses, follow podcasts, get content that can help you to actually equip yourself with the requisite knowledge that would ensure that you stay relevant even in the midst of all these AI automation once again. This brings us to the fourth strategy, and that is to build a brand. So one of the key things that you can do and the most helpful ways to go about protecting your career in the future is to actually be associated or to be known as an expert in a particular field. So for instance, if you're in the field of medicine, what you can simply do is to start sharing idea or start, blog posting or helping people with, several other ways and means of losing weight and all of that if you have any knowledge or experience in that field. Also, what you can do is to post on LinkedIn and then try as much as possible to get people to associate you with any other experiences or any other talents or skills that you have. Because in the future, that will be the competitive edge and the competitive advantage that would make you stand out from any other employee that will be fighting for the very few or the very limited slots that will be left in the future. This brings us to the fifth strategy, and that is to diversify your income streams. And I cannot stress on this long enough. One of the key things that you need to know is that on average, the average multi-millionaire has about 7 streams of income. And of course, with the threatening scenes that we are seeing with AI automation, our incomes are not protected, if I'll be completely honest with you. So this is a time for you to be looking for, freelance or side gigs or anything that would likely diversify your income streams away from your 9 to 5 or the paycheck that you actually receive at the end of the month. And that is simply because it would put you in a better financial position so that in the unfortunate instance where you're laid off, like it happened with my general managers, you can actually have something that is coming in to also sustain you and your family altogether. And that is, I think, the point that the world is gradually drifting towards. And that is why you need to sit down now, strategize, take advantage of these early stages of AI's development, and then diversify your income streams altogether. This brings us to the sixth strategy, and that is to stay adaptable. So if your role is changing at your workplace, you don't have to resist it. The best thing that you can do is to lean in and evolve with it. So one of the key things that you need to learn is that you need to be open-minded. Try as much as possible to learn from scratch how to incorporate AI and how you can actually stay relevant on the job, because now it is going to be increasingly much more difficult for you with AI automation and all of that, because the competition would actually be raised to the highest. Because even if you're not doing it, there's still going to be someone out there with that AI experience that can actually do it better than you're doing it. Of course, you may have all the years of experience and you might have committed or stayed loyal to the brand and all of that. But one thing that you need to know is that the company doesn't owe you anything. And if it comes to, them having to actually do away with you in order to cut down costs or to stay much more effective and efficient, they will do that without thinking twice. So try as much as possible to stay relevant. And the only way that you can stay relevant is to be open-minded and to actually surf with the wave and not against it. This brings us to the seventh strategy, and that is to network relentlessly. So one of the key things that you need to know is that relationships sometimes can open doors that resumes or CVs cannot. And so this is the time for you to form a mastermind alliance. And that ensures that even in the midst of all these chaos in the labor market, you can still know people that can lead you to several opportunities. And that is what Napoleon Hill calls a mastermind alliance. So try as much as possible to tie your fortunes to other people who might have access or unrestricted access to several other opportunities in the economy, so that overall, when push comes to shove, you still have people that you can phone or relationships or ties that can subsequently help you to secure something to protect your income altogether. This brings us to the eighth strategy, and that is to actually look at the bigger picture and understand the bigger picture. So if you're an employee, now is the time for you to actually try as much as possible to familiarize yourself with the operations of the company, and then more importantly, how the company makes money. And that would ensure that you have a better understanding of what goes on there, and then try as much as possible to do more than you're actually paid for. And that is the only way for you to actually put value in whatever you do, and the company would also find you valuable subsequently. All the time, I hear people with the rhetoric, "Oh, I'm not paid enough, and that is why I'm not working as hard." What you need to know is that in this day and era, if you really go about that mantra, that will be the fastest way for you to be booted out of any organization, because the competition is going to be very, very high, because there will be very limited slots in the future. This brings us to the ninth strategy that you may have to adopt in order to protect your income and your career altogether in the future. And that is to think like an owner. That is, if you are an employee, or to become an entrepreneur altogether. One of the easiest ways to actually protect yourself and your family is to start something now while you still can. Try as much as possible to deliver value to people, and then in exchange of that value, people would actually give you money. And so I have several videos on this, several videos on how you can start freelancing with the experience and knowledge that you have, or how you can actually start building a company altogether. I'll link those videos down in the description so that you can take a look at them right after this one. And so if you found value with this video, kindly smash the like button and then consider subscribing, because it really helps with the algorithm. And then I'll be shooting several videos down the line on these topics that can help you to actually protect your income in your future, in your career altogether. Thank you for spending time with us, and see you in the next video.